McCain fails yet again to do her research. Let's talk about it. Hi, welcome to JOA. If you're new to my channel, please click subscribe and click that bell button so you'll be the first to know when I upload. I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe and you do click the bell. Subscribe to my second channel, JOA TV. Also, it would really mean a lot to me if you can go on my patreon.com/JOA and donate a $5 or more monthly subscription to that. If you are a new business, or you don't have to be new, but if you are a business and you are looking for to sponsor me, my channel, please go email me at joamedia1@gmail.com. That's joamedia1@gmail.com. Watch this clip and I'll come back with some more.
So let's talk about this. Anna, do you have any idea how we get this under control? Not that we are experts on this topic. I mean, violence and crime is being studied by criminologists and very, very smart people in all the universities and other places. But do you have any ideas about this?
Look, I think we as a country have got to come to terms with the fact that this is now an epidemic in America, not a pandemic, because it's not happening all over the world. It's a very much of an American problem, and we've got to study it as such. And we've got to stop looking at this as one or the other. We've got to stop looking at this as, oh, this is just happening in Democratic-run cities, which it's not. In places like in Mesa, Arizona, the gun violence has gone up. The murder rate has gone up by 66%. Also in places like Fort Worth, Texas, Tulsa, Oklahoma. So it's not just a Democrat versus Republican issue. It's not just an urban versus rural issue. It's not just about mental health or about gun reform. I think we've got to take a comprehensive look at everything and realize that we've got to address this. We've got to do something. We can't keep looking the other way. And Republican members of the legislature have got to get from under the grip of the NRA, which today is far from the club that started centuries ago. Today, it is a grift and a way for people to make a lot of money, a lot of fundings coming from the gun manufacturers. It is a special interest group, and they are holding up any way to actually make any progress on this issue. So I think we've got to come to terms with it.
So follow the money. Follow the money. Meghan, what is the issue for you?
Well, what makes me feel unsafe is rising crime. So, again, I think it's pretty natural to want to feel safe when cities, and again, you can talk about, different, it's true, the statistics, that were just said are true about places like in Mesa, Arizona, obviously my home state, but you aren't seeing people fleeing Arizona. In fact, Arizona is gaining a new congressional seat because so many people from California want to come over to Arizona because of the different kind of laws. You aren't seeing people flooding to places like New York City. You're seeing them flood to places like Florida and Texas, and that's because of the crime spikes and other things that happened post-pandemic. Look, the shooting that just happened yesterday was 30 rounds, which is a lot of rounds to be shot right in Logan Circle, which is within walking distance of the White House, which should make all Americans feel scared and unsafe, especially because this is happening so close to where our president lives. The shooting that happened last week happened outside a Nats game, which is also not that far away from where the shooting happened before. DC has a huge problem. Muriel Bowser has to do something about it. I know just anecdotally from talking to people who live here in DC how furious they are that it seems like crime is getting out of control and this is getting worse and worse and in different areas. I'm a gun owner. I'm an NRA member. I'm proud to be both. I think I never want to be lectured to by people who don't own guns, who didn't grow up in gun culture, who don't understand why women like me want to be armed, want to feel safe in my home, want to know that if there was an intruder that my husband would be able to protect me and my baby. It's a very hard thing for people to understand that don't believe in it, and it's one of the most polarizing issues in the United States of America. But going forward, I will always vote for any person and any party that continues to defend the Second Amendment, no matter what happens. It is the cornerstone of who I am and what I believe America should be.
So people are moving to Arizona and other states not for the reasons that Meghan McCain mentioned. Of course, she does not do her research. According to an Arizona bigmedia.com, and this is the Arizona publication, people are fleeing California to move to Texas, to move to Arizona, and Idaho. Illinois, New York, New Jersey are the 3 states with the most common outbound moves. The top 5 inbound states in 2020 are Idaho, Arizona, Tennessee, South Carolina, and North Carolina, with Tennessee overtaking South Carolina from the 2019 results. Florida, Texas, and Colorado round up the top 8 states for inbound moves. Despite pandemic, people continue to move at rates comparable in 2019. According to the report, Phoenix, Houston, and Dallas were the top 3 cities welcoming new residents, while New York City, Anaheim, and San Diego saw the highest numbers of people leave. So the report has nothing to do with the pandemic. It has nothing to do with things that she states, although she did not state it in this video. But homeless problem is a common thing that Meghan McCain states when it comes to California. And most likely, a lot of people are moving to Arizona is because they want bigger homes. And a lot of these homes in Arizona are bigger and they cost less. And they make up an extra 100+ square feet room in their home. Either it could be a room, an office, a laundry room, you know, something that is a greater value for their money at a less cost, which is the reason why California is losing a lot of residents, and they're moving to Arizona as one of the key states in the United States of America. And in addition to being able to afford housing, a big house with lesser money, typically in states like California and New York, a lot of people are moving for job availability and to escape the harsh winters that come from New York, New York City, just New York, New Jersey, overall. And so despite the pandemic, according to ArizonaBigMedia.com, which brought on economic hardship for many, the report from North American Moving Services found that moving rates were comparable to years prior. Researchers said that among the reasons people were picking up and heading to the Sunbelt states were to escape harsh winters, job availability, and cost of living. Another reason for the move, bigger houses for less money. According to the new Zillow analysis of moving data from North American Van Lines, Americans moved to Phoenix or who made out of town moves last year typically paid less money for larger homes. You can see here at a 2020 U.S. migration report, the top inbound states were Idaho, Arizona, South Carolina, Tennessee, and North Carolina. Inbound meaning the top states that people flee to. Now, the top outbound states, the states that people move out from are Illinois, New York, California, New Jersey, and Maryland. All right. So the fact that Meghan McCain can simply do a simple Google research as to why people move, it has nothing to do with what she was stating today on video on The View. And of course, she did not do her research at all. And believe it or not, there are benefits to moving to Arizona. The key benefits to moving to Arizona are long distance movers into Phoenix, relocated into zip codes with $48,237 lower home values on average where they moved from. How sold out to out-of-towners moved to Phoenix Metro were 116 square feet larger. Like I told you guys, if you want an extra room, than the movers' origin zip codes. Those moving to Phoenix Metro went to zips where home values are $27,012 lower than where they started. Homes sold in their destinations are 55 square feet smaller. The typical home value in April 2021 was $355,000, $355,822, up to 20.4% since April 2020. Zillow's recent mover report found the top metros for net in migration, with more people moving in than out, are sunny and relatively affordable. Phoenix, Charlotte, and Austin led the U.S. in terms of net in migration. We all know that most Republicans do not believe in gun control. They don't believe in having law-abiding citizens be attached to gun control. They don't see that gun control will decrease the harmful effects it can do to citizens of the United States of America. They do not see that at all. The NRA basically states that criminals don't obey gun control laws. Criminals, by definition, do not obey the law. Gun control laws only affect law-abiding people who go through legal avenues to obtain firearms. Criminals overwhelmingly obtain their firearms through illegal channels and will never be deterred by state and federal laws. That's why background checks have virtually no impact on criminals. A 2016 Obama administration study by the Bureau of Justice Statistics examined how prison inmates obtained the firearms they used during crimes, and the results weren't surprising. The study found that only about 10.1% obtained their firearms through a retail source. So that's only 10.1%. The vast majority of criminals obtained their firearms through other means, including illegal underground sales, bought, borrowed, traded, or rented from friends or family, gifts, purchased by another individual for them, theft from their victims, from the scene of a crime. Criminals who go through illegal avenues to obtain firearms aren't going to submit to background checks while doing so. Ultimately, only law-abiding citizens would be impacted by expanded background checks. And so I really want to know what your thoughts on this whole situation is. So one of the things the NRA actually talks about is crime control. They feel like crime control by law-abiding citizens who should have the freedom to have a gun would lessen the situations where a person is going to use a gun in a harsh situation. So the simplest solution is crime control, enforcing existing laws aimed at criminals who carry and use firearms to commit their crimes. And so they talk about Chicago. Okay, they use Chicago as an example. We know that homicides in cities trend down when elected officials encourage solid police work and harsh penalties for gun criminals. We've seen it work in the past years in Chicago when the city gave additional resources to law enforcement. We've known for decades that crime control works. A good example is Project Exile, a program launched in Richmond, Virginia in 1997. Faced with a sky-high homicide rate, Richmond prosecutors began enforcing existing gun laws to the fullest, imposing lengthy sentences against drug dealers and other criminals who were carrying firearms illegally. The project was an enormous success. Law enforcement took hundreds of illegal guns off the street, and Richmond's homicide rate plummeted. Other cities implemented the program with similar success. In short, Project Exile demonstrated beyond a doubt that focusing on gun criminals, not placing undue burden on law-abiding citizens, is the best way to curb violent crime and make the people safe. I could see where their point is. I could see the point here about there's different avenues to get guns, just like there's different avenues to get drugs. You know, there's different avenues to even do some drugs while, you know, having a period of getting a job and getting drug tested. So I can see their point. So something must be done. I think crime control is a good example. I could see the point of NRA, but a lot of people can also debate that and say, well, you're saying this for money reasons. And I can see that as being something as a reason as to why they don't want to do the work that should be done. You know, like Aaron Navarro and Joy Behar said, you know, it's profit. But anyways, let me know what you think in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe and click the bell so you'll be the first to know when I upload. I really want to hear your thoughts about this whole situation. So please do leave comments below on your thoughts on this and what do you think. Are you pro NRA? Are you pro what I just said? Or is what the NRA just said is the reason why they feel like background checks don't work? Let me know in the comments below. Deuces. Yay!